Right, mate, another day here at Barham Engines.
It is indeed.
And it's Friday.
It is.
And it's nearly 4:30.
I know.
So we're pushing it really with today's video, aren't we?
Well, a little bit, but...
We've had a lot on with John not being here today as well.
Busy day.
Had to do a couple of cylinder heads, which ain't
very weird.
Ain't normal. Been to-ing and fro-ing. But for me, pretty much another Cosworth day. Surprise, surprise, you almost say.
Yeah.
So, Russell's, John managed to get the cylinder head pretty much done yesterday.
Oh, nice.
So fortunately the valve guides have been done.
So didn't
need doing. So this head, I would say, probably hasn't done a great deal of work since being ported. So they've obviously removed the guides, ported it, lovely porting job. We've got 25.5mm inlet ports, 24.5mm exhaust. So this head is good for decent power.
They're big ports then, are they?
Pretty big ports, mate. Yeah. Pretty decent. Good for 500 plus. John has done the valves and seats. Yep. So cleaned all the valves up, decoked it all, blasted the cylinder head, just belt and braces, obviously double check everything, make sure it's all right. Give it a lick of the old silver, mate, because blasted aluminium looks lovely to start with.
Oh, it looks beautiful.
Until you get a little bit of moisture on it, and then it looks like it used to.
Yeah,
crap.
It looks great as long as you keep it inside. But
it does indeed.
The second it's gone outside,
but don't think about driving it.
Or something. Yeah.
So this head now has been faced. Just give it a light lick over. Wasn't very bad at all. Hadn't been blowing any gasket or anything like that. So now I'm going to pick up the gaskets Monday morning from down at Ultra Parts, where I buy my Cosworth gaskets from.
Yep.
And I'm going to be putting the valve stem seals on. Valves are all in order, so they'll be going back in.
Oh, so this is the solid lifter setup.
This is the solid lifter setup.
You've got to keep those in order.
That's it, yeah, I've got to keep that in order. So I'm going to be double checking the clearance, and if need be, I'll take it off the valve while the springs are not on the head.
Nice.
Order the piston rings, so we're going to keep the Cosworth pistons at 0.5 oversize in it, long rod setup, even the bearings, well the big end bearings are brand new. Main bearings look like they've done absolutely hardly anything, and they're Marla Motorsport bearings, so I'm going to check the running clearance on them.
See if you can use them again.
Yeah, if it's all good, Russell's more than happy to just keep them in there.
Yeah, they do look really fresh. So
yeah, they're very fresh. If in doubt, I would obviously change them, but they're fairly new, to be honest.
Yep.
A few little bits that Russell's bought, so water pump, cam belt, kit, spark plugs, oil filter, all that jazz, although the oil filter on it was brand new, not even been used. And I've cleaned up most of the rest of the bits, mate, so like the pulley there, we've got some lovely, he's got to be changing this, I would say, horrible bottom pulley, because he's putting standard management on it, so we do away with this trigger wheel at the back.
I'm never a fan of.
I don't like that. The anodizing.
Yeah,
it's just. It's look. To be honest, the blue don't look bad when it's new because it's like a deep, nice blue. Yeah. But when it fades, it looks awful.
And they do fade, don't they?
Quick. Yeah. And the red's the same. That goes pink. But he's got those lovely Quaife steel peg type pulleys.
My favourite.
They look proper smart. Them. First time I seen them was on the engines that Romain Opliger does at Opliger Motorsport. That chap can build a Cosy.
Yes.
Other things like the distributor I've cleaned up and blasted, so most stuff is ready to go. This turbo here was the turbo that I was in talks with buying off Russell at one point. This is the one with it's a T34 but with a 5.5 back housing, which is in between a 4.8 and a 6.3. Very rare apparently. So this turbo with this spec here, we're hoping for about 420.
Nice.
Anything over 400 is going to be a bonus, isn't it? So he's had the billet wheel at the front, 360 bearing, all the usual jazz. They
do a lovely job at turbo performance, don't they?
They do. To be honest, as I say, when Russell was thinking about not using this for himself, and I was going to get this as well as the T3.
Is that your T3?
That's mine. Yeah. So that's the one I got off Russell. This is probably a bit too much for the van, to be fair.
Yeah, this one would be mental.
It's not what I want. Russell supplied me with this, which has done under 1,000 miles. And of course, we've just sent that to Turbo Performance.
It's worth it, and you know you're starting fresh then, aren't you?
Yeah.
You don't mind spending the money.
I just want them, whatever we do, I wanted them to check it. it's got to look nice because this is going to be our flagship motor,
that's
isn't
the
it?
thing. It had been reconned, but they obviously, whoever reconned it, isn't as bothered about getting it looking as nice as they are at Turbo Performance. Not not slating them, because you don't have to do that.
No, and it's been sitting around a bit, so it's got a bit of corrosion here and there.
But
and of course, mate, we've put the billet front wheel in there, machined that out, so
obviously,
and stuck the 31 actuator on there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So this is, although I've got a 4x4 head, this turbo here is set up for a 2-wheel drive.
Right.
To be honest, I didn't really think about it at the time. This is set up to go on a 2-wheel drive exhaust manifold, and of course at the moment I've got the 4-wheel drive on. I would have run the 4-wheel drive because of the sort of ease really of fitting the engine into a Mark II or Mark I.
It's clearance, isn't it?
It's a clearance
They're
issue.
a lot smaller, those 4-wheel drive manifolds.
They are. If I show you the 2-wheel drive manifold, look, it basically sits like that.
They're a better manifold, don't they?
Yeah, these are a better manifold. You get a bit quicker spool up, they're a better flow. But of course, because it sort of goes out here, this Triffid here runs quite close to the, I think it's the suspension turret on the Mark II. Basically, mate, I've got one. I'm going to use it, and I'm going to keep the 2-wheel drive set up. It will just be a bit better.
Yeah.
And what I shall do is put that on, and when we've done with the engine up in the bay, before we obviously go for paint, I'm going to get Tom to modify the turret so we get some clearance.
Yeah.
Let's do it properly, innit?
Yeah, you might as well.
That's the state with the turbos, that is the state with Russells. What have I got to do with that? I've just got to deglaze it because the bores are perfect.
Yeah.
Face the top of the block, do a couple of mods on the studs and that, and away we go, put it back together. The Focus RS Mark III quickly, mate. We've run through a couple of options with this. Now, basically this car, it's sort of got a budget in mind on what he wanted to spend on the engine. To go fully blown on this.
Yeah, like a full-on recon.
Yeah, I don't think it sort of warrants doing that for him, which is fair enough. So what I've suggested is a cheaper option, and the cheaper option would be for us to do pretty much the same amount of cleaning up work, but do all the checks and maybe put the pistons, rods and crank in.
So basically maybe do a short block, and then give him a reconditioned head, a reconditioned short block.
Yeah.
And then he can time it up, put it all together.
Yeah.
Saves on labour.
Saves on labour, basically, mate. I mean, I did say to him, I said, if you're more than capable of doing it between you and your mechanic friend or whatever, bear in mind we're £90 an hour plus the VAT.
Well, so, I mean, we're always there for advice if he needs to.
Yeah, of course, yeah. But we do that a lot behind the scenes, don't we? Do the, the
lot
short
of bottom
block.
ends and sort of
What's been the game changer price-wise on this is because it had been a forged build, and that's really why he bought the car, because he knew that it's had some money spent on it.
Well, yeah, it's got these.
It's got the Bridgeway I-beam rods. It's got the Marlin Motorsport pistons in it,
which are a really good piston.
Yeah.
But, it's not gone well.
Unfortunately, it's not gone well, mate. Basically, the pistons, not in bad nick, as in ringlands and
like
stuff like that, skirts and that, but we have got a couple, because the small end has broken up, we've got a couple, there's one there, this is the worst one, but that's the worst one. But if you see on the skirt here, it's very sparkly.
Yeah.
And what that is embedded into the, well, at least the Teflon coating, is lots of bronze from the small end bushes, and probably metal from the rod. So
well, and potentially rod bearings as well, because they were on their way out.
Yeah. So we ain't using them pistons.
No.
All the rods were a bit iffy, weren't they, on the small ends?
Yeah. So you've got, like, on these three, you've got, it's not an insane amount of like play, but any play in a small end really, like. It's any noticeable play is too much play, isn't it?
It's too much play, mate. You need a nice slide fit with...
Nice and tight.
Basically, how I do it when I hone the small ends is the pin needs to be a slide fit and just fall gradually under its own weight, not with any sort of clearance.
The issue with these is that you can sort of put them in and you won't be able to see it, but...
Yeah, you can wobble that about.
You can wobble it, which it's not a lot, but it's too much.
There's a couple of thou or so there. No,
it's too
no
much
good.
For a small end.
But whatever's happened to this, mate, this is the worst one. Now, we would like to take the piston off and show you the small end inside there, but I'm sure you can just see where it's mullered, not only the small end bush, but the rod. And in there, mate...
Let me get a torch for that, because that is impressive.
You see some of the pin sticking out the back there, and the other bit in there. And I must admit, in my 23 years of service... I've never seen this.
It's pretty bad.
We've got the other bit of pin here, mate. It's a sheared pin, which I've never seen.
It's absolutely chewed up everything inside that small end, you know, inside the piston there and in the rod.
So it's done a proper job in it.
It has.
So obviously we ain't using these rods, we ain't using these pistons, and that's going to make a dramatic difference to the cost, because you are running up with the VAT towards about 1,500 quid, which is
just on bits.
Just on bits. So that's going to make a big difference. So I'm going to leave him to think about it over the weekend, and yeah, get back to us on that, mate. So this is work in progress, and I'm sure we'll hear more next week.
It's a bit of a shame though, because it has got, although the rods and pistons are no good, the crank's all right. It's got ARP stud and nut kit.
Yeah.
Got your block brace in there. It's going to need a rebore, but it's a decent starting point for someone who would want to build a good RS engine.
Well, yeah, that's another thing, because it was 87.5 standard bore with the pistons that have been put in it. That's a standard bore, so we're going to get, if we get new pistons, we're going to bore it to 88.
Well, I was looking at them, and actually it has scored them quite badly.
Yeah, well, that's probably the debris in the skirt.
As well as, I think it's worn them with the fuel going down there. It's just worn away. Yeah. Prematurely, really, but.
So there we go, mate. We'll hear more about that next week. So this is the other Cosworth, opposite Russell's, the one that came in, basically been built by a garage, had machining done. We did see the pistons a while back, a few weeks back.
Probably like a month ago.
Yeah, to have the top of the pistons skimmed and our pockets put in, just for that extra clearance, because I think he said he had a tapping noise or something. But this heavy tapping, stroke knocking-y sort of noise continued. He wasn't sure what it was. Obviously, customers probably getting a bit frustrated. So he said, listen, I'll just whip the motor out, send it to you boys, you strip it, see what you can find, go through your usual checks, because obviously we're used to doing them.
Yep.
So that's what we've done, mate. So first things first, we took the rocker cover off, cams out. We obviously check all the end bearings and stuff like that, make sure that there's no bearings ripped up in the cylinder head where the cams run. These hydraulics, the first thing I normally ask when you've got symptoms like this is, how much did you pay for the hydraulics? And they seem a little bit shocked by that. But the reason is because if they've paid around £100 or under, the chances are that they are a single chambered hydraulic out of the Volkswagen. So these are what they run in the PD Volkswagens.
Oh yeah.
The 1900s, same one. And they, at the time, in fairness, they were selling them as the Cosworth ones. Still do, some companies, but they are a single chambered. So what that means is there's more likely for drain back.
Right.
The Cosworth ones back in the day, which they are now producing and we can buy from Ultra Parts, the twin chambered ones are bout and braces. Once they jack up, they stay jacked up. And the reason they made those is because of obviously the higher lift on the cams, the more abuse they get.
Yeah.
So what you can have on these, we've had, when they weren't available, the twin chambered, these was the only ones we could buy. And you did have the odd set where you'd have a noisy one and it wouldn't shut up.
Yeah.
Nothing you can do about that. It's just really, they ain't meant to be running with them cams. We have found, first thing we found is these two here, mate. You spotted that they are a little bit squidgy.
Yeah, I give them a little prod and they was a bit softer than, well, the others were all jacked up hard.
Yeah. It could have been that it's been sitting on the top of the lobe and it's just pushed the oil out.
Maybe.
Or it could have been that they just ain't jacked out and they're a bit iffy. Potential problem. But probably not enough for me to just conclude that that's it. We're going to have to strip it. So next thing, we're going to be stripping the head, checking it out. But then I did think of something, and I thought about this before the engine even come in. And the reason I thought of this, mate, is because I'm going to admit the first Cosworth I ever built was the one out of my Sierra many years ago, and I had exactly this problem. And it's one that I'm very paranoid about. And it's a bit of a Heath Robinson-y sort of butchery setup, really, on the Cosies, and that is the oil pump and pickup. So we've took the sump off this, and I said to you before I even removed the sump, I wonder whether it's doing this. And it does look evident that may be the problem, mate.
Yeah.
So what you've got here is you've got the oil pump on the Cosie with two bolts at the back of the pump to hold it on to the block, which allows the front to come up. Terrible idea. Could have done with another bolt here.
And there's no, it's not like totally flat underneath, is it? To sort of
no
hold down. So
exactly. And then you've got
floating.
And then you've got this bit of bent pipe here, which is your pickup.
Brazed and bent.
With a twisted and bent bracket here that bolts that to the block. Now, the first thing you've got to be very careful of is when you put a new pump on and you change your pickup over to the new pump, it's going to sit different. Yeah. It can sit all over the place. It's not doweled. So what we tend to do is when we're putting the pump on, we put a torch behind and make sure there's no gap in between the block and the pump.
Yeah, because there is like a bit at the front that needs to sit down.
Yeah, what you tend to find, don't you, is you'll see a gap where the pump's sitting up, but this pickup is actually down as far as it will go. So what we tend to do is when we put it on, we bend the pickup up.
Yeah.
So it's literally, when you do this bolt up, it's pulling that pump into the block.
Yeah, so the idea is it's almost like that, and then this will be sitting up, won't it?
Sitting up very slightly,
you have to use that bolt to pull it all the way down.
Yeah, and then you know that is down. Because what happens is, if that is up, you've got no gasket or seal in between the block and the pump. You've literally got an air gap, so it's just going to... We've had it before. I've done it where it's...
Pump oil.
Yeah, you go to get oil pressure up once the sump's on. No chance. Just literally blowing out of there. So that's your first issue. Second issue is this is all very close to the baffle plate in the sump. And what you tend to find if you're not careful, or it's not in the right position, is when you put the sump on without knowing, when you do the bolts up, it can be touching on here and it pushes this all over this way.
Yeah.
And what you run into is not so much this one, but certainly this one. If you ain't careful, mate, I'll turn this round. Now look at the clearance between that big end bolt and that pickup pipe. It's literally non-existent. And the only reason you've got a little bit of clearance there is because if I turn that round and feel under there, mate, there's a big groove in that pickup pipe.
You can kind of see it.
So that bolt has been hitting that pipe, worn its way a little groove. I'll tell you something for free, that will sound like a one-man band when it's running. It sounds almost like a big end's gone. Ding, 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 ding.
It's going to be at the same frequency, isn't it? Like,
yeah, it sounds
with the
terrible.
rotation of the crank.
The first time it happened, I did it on my Sierra. Obviously put it together, put it in the car at home on my own, fired it up, never heard anything like it. Thought I'd done an end. Rang John up in panic state and he sort of suggested it might be something touching underneath. Sure enough, that's what it was. That's what happened. I'm going to continue to strip this just to make sure, because we're nearly there now. So I'm going to take the pistons and rods out and all that, make sure that everything's okay and it's not done a small end or a big end.
Yeah, this is all freshly done anyway, so if it's all good, it can just go back together as is. No, it's not going to cost him too much more to do that.
No,
so
that's it, yeah. So
worth it.
While we're at this state, we may as well. And I'll be giving him the glad tidings.
Oh, you did say about that, using that gas, well, not using one of them gaskets as well.
Yeah, so this, obviously, because these heads aren't doweled onto the block, you can have movement in the gasket and you can have movement on the head. This is using the Wills Rings type gasket, or the Cooper's Rings type gasket, sorry, where you've got the fibre gasket with the insert in the middle. Only trouble with these is when it's been bored, they're very, very close to the actual size of the bore on the internal.
Yeah.
And being steel like this, if you're not careful and they're sort of overhanging the bore, if you've got any protrusion on the piston can touch that and cause a tapping.
Well, it'll probably dislodge the gasket and you probably lose compression as well in some situations.
You just got to be very careful for that. And what I tend to look for is when we take these out, look on the block where this ring has been sitting and make sure it's not offset. So you've got like it's sort of overhanging the bore.
But are you going to put it back together with a multi-layer?
I'll put it back together with my Victor Rhines, mate.
Yeah.
That's what I use. So far, mate, I'm sort of edging towards that is the problem.
Yeah.
It's always nice to find something. So yeah, that's it, mate. It's definitely another Ford day, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Say goodbye to the Cologne. That's going tomorrow morning.
Bye, Cologne.
Been part of the furniture for many, many weeks.
Yeah.
But looks absolutely fantastic. Well done, mate.
Cheers, mate.
Yeah, apart from that, mate, hope you enjoy your weekend.
And you.
Hope all the viewers enjoy your weekend. Hopefully it's sunny.
Be all right Saturday, won't it?
Yeah, it'll be all right Saturday. And update on Monday's video for one of the project cars. Absolute bargain we've got. Until then, have a great weekend. Cheers, guys.